Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, we got a pretty serious story coming out of my hometown, Brooklyn, New York. Don't live there anymore for obvious reasons. Owner of a Brooklyn-based credit counseling business has sentenced to more than 11 years in prison for defrauding clients. Earlier today in federal court in Brooklyn, Murat Lerner, the former president of a debt relief service business, was sentenced by United States District Judge Nicholas G. Garufis to 135 months in prison for conspiracy to commit wire fraud and wire fraud. Lerner was also convicted of continuing his criminal scheme while on pretrial. So this guy had the nerve to get caught doing whatever fraudulent scheme he was doing against his clients, got arrested for it, and while he was on pretrial, like they were setting up the trial for him to see if he's guilty or not, he was continuing to do it. Like, I don't understand why people who have legit businesses can't just do the right thing with their business. You have to go out and commit fraud against people. Like, he had a legit debt relief business, and he went out and defrauded these people. But let's see exactly what he did. Lerner was ordered to forfeit approximately $2,340,154 to the government. Jesus Christ. Restitution to the victims will be determined at a later date. So, wow. So this isn't even for his victims. This is just for the government. He's done. Lerner pleaded guilty to the charges in February 2024. Breon Peace, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, let's skip that part. Today, the defendant learned that there are serious consequences for stealing his client's money even after he was arrested and ruthlessly spending it on a luxury car for himself, probably a Rolls Royce, online dating, and expensive meals. That's just sad. Stated U.S. Attorney Peace. His victims were hardworking people, many from the Eastern European community, who went to him for help saving their homes and livelihoods. Instead of helping them, Lerner took advantage of their trust and vulnerability to steal their money. Lerner continued his crimes even when he knew that his actions had directly caused his victims to lose their homes and or declare bankruptcy. My office is committed to protecting the public from unscrupulous advisors like Lerner. That's why you have to be very careful with people you go to who do debt relief, because you're supposed to give them access to your money so they can do whatever business service you're paying them for. And this guy just went ahead and stole all these people's money to the point where they had to declare bankruptcy, losing their houses and all this. Lerner lived a glamorous life by taking money out of the pockets of the people in his own community. His underground brokerage was not just a simple money scam. It led to victims defaulting on their mortgage payments and some falling into foreclosure. Today's sentencing should stand as a reminder to those preying on others to fulfill their own greedy desires. You will get caught, you will get prosecuted, and you will go to prison for your criminal acts. Murat Lerner stole $2.5 million from fiscally vulnerable clients and forced several into bankruptcy after funneling their money to fund his personal luxury purchases rather than providing the promised reduced mortgage payments, stated FBI Director in charge Denny. Lerner betrayed his victims' trust, remorselessly continuing to perpetuate this fraudulent scheme even after his initial arrest. With the continued support of NYPD and CBD, the FBI remains dedicated to investigate those who employ empty promises to prey upon disadvantaged communities to satisfy their own greed. According to court documents and facts presented at Lerner's sentencing, the defendant was the owner of the Lerner Group, a business that claimed to provide debt relief services, including mortgage modifications, principally to the Eastern European immigrant community in Brooklyn. Many of the victims Lerner defrauded were already experiencing financial hardship and specifically sought Lerner's assistance to help reduce their monthly mortgage payments. Lerner, in turn, promised that he would help them lower their monthly mortgage payments by working with their mortgage lenders to secure a mortgage loan modification or federal homeowners assistance. To carry out his fraud, Lerner obtained access to the victim's bank accounts, which he claimed he would use to pay the mortgage bank on their behalf. Never ever let these people have access to your bank accounts. They will drain you in a second, just like this guy did. Lerner used his access to his victims' bank accounts to steal approximately $2.5 million, money that the 19 victims believe was being used to pay their mortgages. Once Lerner gained access to the victims' bank accounts, he transferred funds from their accounts to companies and or bank accounts that he controlled. Lerner covered up his fraud by claiming the money was being held in escrow or by affiliates of the mortgage banks. In truth, Lerner kept most of the victims' money and spent it on personal and business expenses, including a BMW. Okay, so thought he had a Rolls Royce, a BMW, luxury goods, and expensive meals. Lerner caused several of his clients to file bankruptcy petitions to stave off foreclosure to continue his fraud. And as a result of his scheme, several of his victims are facing foreclosure proceedings. In January 2023, Lerner was arrested in connection with the fraud and released on bail. Why? Why are you releasing this guy on bail? You see what happened. They released him on bail, then he went right back to doing what he was doing before. New York has such a stupid bail reform thing, man. We got all these criminals committing all these acts. Oh, bail reform. You get caught and they release you the next day. He was instructed not to commit any additional crimes. However, Lerner promptly opened new bank accounts and continued his criminal scheme. Yo, this guy was out to get that money, whether it's going to kill him or not. After his arrest in this case, Lerner stole at least an additional $50,000 from his clients. In September 2023, Lerner's bail was revoked, and after a grand jury returned a superseding indictment charging Lerner with additional crimes. Oh man, just pretty much the rest of it is just explaining who's who in this. This is crazy as hell. So they let him out on bail and he immediately opened up new bank accounts. They didn't decide to freeze his accounts because of what he was doing. But I mean, we live in a really sad world right now where you pay someone to do a service for you, and you give them access to your account, trusting this person, obviously, because I wouldn't give my account number to anyone I don't trust. You trust this person to do the right thing, and they just steady taking money out of your accounts. And he did it to 19 people. 19 people. Took $2.5 million. I mean, this guy deserves the 11 years. Honestly, I think he deserves life in prison because you should mess with people's livelihoods. These people had to go do foreclosure because he was stealing their money, saying that he was being held in escrow for the mortgage companies. And he just went out and bought a BMW, luxury goods, and some expensive meals. That's a shame, man. But let me know what you guys think about the story. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see y'all next time.